The following show is a paid program.
Hey family, how you doing today? We have the best of the best national recording R&B artist, vocalist, songwriter, and actor, Mr. Keith Washington. Hey, my friend, what's going on?
I'm doing fine. How you feel, man?
Oh, doing great, doing great. From Detroit, I understand. Detroit, Michigan.
Born and raised. Born and raised. Man, I've learned a lot from home.
All right, all right. How did you get started in the music business?
Luck. Well, to be honest, I come from somewhat of a musical family. You know, my uncle, Gino Washington, back in the 60s, he was doing his thing, and I was always around, you know. And I come from a large family, which my uncles and aunts, it was 13 of them. So all of them had some type of talent to contribute to that household every morning, waking up singing or somebody dancing. So I was around that all my life. And my sister, one morning, my mother was at work and my older sister was watching my brother and I, and she heard me in the bedroom when I was like 5, 6, singing a James Brown song. And she came in the doorway and she was standing in the doorway and I didn't know she was there. And I looked around and she startled me. She said, "No, keep going. You know, you're supposed to be making up your bed, but keep going, keep singing." I was nervous. I was like, "Well, I'm gonna make it." No, keep singing, keep singing. And I was intimidated and also, you know, think she was gonna give me one of those old fashioned whoopings because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. But she was set out and said, "Keith, you could sing." And I was like, I was just singing. She said, "No." And she told my mother, she told me if I didn't sing when my mother got there, she was going to handle me when my mother left. So I sung in front of my mother. And from that point on, my aunts, my uncles, found that I could sing through my mom. I sung for them and they started taking me around the city of Detroit. And I started doing TV shows at 20 grand and I opened up for Brenda Russell and so on and so forth at a place called the 20 grand, the original 20 grand, the first 20 grand. And so I opened up for a lot of artists that was there, a lot of well-known artists. And I was 6 years old with a band. I first started out with my younger brother, Mark. We were called the Two Aces. But my brother didn't have no love for that. I mean, he could sing, but it was almost like, you know, I don't want to do this. Me, I loved it, you know.
Yeah.
In fact, I love my mother so much, so I love being around her because my mother, I think my mother worked there as a waitress as well, something like that. So I just loved being around my mom, you know what I mean? So whatever I could do to be around her, being on that stage and her in the audience, that was beautiful for me. So my brother didn't have it. He was like, I can be playing with my fire trucks.
Right.
So he quit the group. But that's basically the beginning of how I started from the age of 6 performing and singing.
I like that.
And that took me to today, you know?
Absolutely. A little bit about you. 1984, let's go to Star Search. Ed McMahon, how did we come up with that? How did you get that?
I was in a studio called United Sounds, and it's in Detroit, Michigan, owned by Mr. Dennis, was like, you know, my guy. He's passed some years ago. But I was recording demos, you know, because they was preparing to do a deal with me, you know, launch me a deal through Clyde Davis, through certain record labels, and I was in there recording. And at the time, I was in the back working on a record with sisters. They wrote something for me. Then I saw Don and this whole crew of people come there that looked like they was there for some other type of business, and they was in the sound booth room watching me sing. So when I came out, the lady was like, "Oh my God, blase, this and that and other, you great. You should do Star Search." And I was like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna do Star Search. You know, they got favorites. You know, It's hard to bear when he's been on there for, you know what I mean? And as a favorite and could sing. I didn't go up against him. Through Don Davis, he asked me and he begged me and they begged me, and I was saying I don't want to do it. But there was someone else on there at the time, this black guy, and he was talented. And they convinced me to do it, and I did it. I lost by half a point, got a standing ovation, and couldn't realize. Well, the reason why is because everything got my Davis, which is my godfather, never win doing an original song. Let's do an original song after I sing a song that everyone knows. And he was like, "No, this is gonna launch it, and then we kill him with a standard." Man, just that happened, you know.
Right.
I got up there, got a great appreciation, but one lady said that I didn't know the song. Wow. I couldn't connect. I felt you, and you did well, and everybody else did, but so I lost to this gentleman a half a point, but I was happy for Sinbad because Sinbad and I was on at the same time.
Right. That was good. That's good. You did background for a lot of major artists that many people may not know that you were the background for them. You know, Stevie Wonder, the Jacksons, George Clinton, Mickey Howard. Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of those artists. I mean, I actually toured with Mickey Howard as a background singer. Stevie, I actually did some background work in the studio on some of his records. Well, actually, one particular record at the time. George Clinton, I actually sung a lead on one of his songs, and I would go on the road with George Clinton, which was like every day a party. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it was, you know, but it was fun. It was very challenging time because things that I didn't do and being exposed to things, you know, like drinking at the time. I wasn't a drinker, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so me being hovered with the safety net of my own kept me away from a lot of things going on around me. But I also appreciate the edge that I learned from these artists. The Jacksons, I did background work with them, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I was very thankful and very proud of the fact that I was in a position to be recognized from other people that was working with them.
You have a great song out, and we're going to look at it, Kissing You. My God, there's so many women that have inboxed me and said, Cam, that has to be the first song, which it is the first single, but the first song you show. So let's look at a video of that one, Kissing You.
Thinking of you, that's all I seem to do. When you're not here, I long to hold you near. Baby, this time together we must spend. Holding you close, taking time to let you know. Tonight's the night we will share. Turn off the lights, come close to me. Tell me I'm all you ever need.
Love that song. How did that one come about?
Well, to make a long story short, I was living in Charlotte, North Carolina at the time. I was married. And I met a gentleman by the name of Rodney Shelton that lives there. I don't play there. He called me one day because I had like a home set up. And I had just moved there. We had just moved down there. I wasn't even there a month or two. And he called me. He was a piano bar guy. You know, like at the hotels, you see those guys playing piano. And he told me, I got these chords, man. I don't know. They nice. You may like, or maybe we can make something of it. So I went there and heard the chords he was playing. I told him, I said, well, just come us later today and let's write a song to it. Basically, that's how it happened. Now, me finishing the song took some time. We was trying to really figure it out and where we going with it. And so I wrote the first verse in the chorus. And at the time, my ex-wife, Marsha Jenkins. She was very good in writing letters and this and that. And I said, Marsha, listen, you're very talented. You put stories together. And listen, why don't you try writing the second verse to this? And she's like, oh, babe, I don't know. Yes, you do know how to write. Just follow the melody.
Right.
Follow the melody. Okay? And, you know, that's sometimes it's very hard for people to do. You know what I mean? Your melody. And I woke up the next day and she finished the whole song, basically from the second verse on.
Right, on through the
and
song.
Now, that song was not actually written for me. It wasn't written for me. It was written for Anita Baker. I wanted to get it to her. At the time, I wasn't managed. I was an unknown artist, probably from Detroit. And I knew her. We was like associates. I was seeing her in clubs one day singing, and when she became successful with Chapter 8 and so on and so forth, I wanted to get the song to her.
Wow.
But when I moved to LA and let somebody else hear it, they was like, no, brother, that song belongs to you. So it was not even my plan. I mean, that was not even, how would I put it? That was where I was trying to go musically.
Yes.
Well, was not that in a sense. It's a beautiful song, but it was written for Anita in mind.
Yes.
But because of the fact that I did such a great, demo on it, people took the record and ran with it and said, "This is your first single. This is it."
That's it.
So that's it. Started my whole career.
And that's what people remember you by. They remember that one.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, man.
The one that you didn't even think, you weren't even trying to give it to yourself. You're trying to give it away.
I really wasn't. I had some song. It was some song. I forget what it was, but it was some song that I just felt comfortable. It was like, and I just want to love you all night long. It was something that was just, I don't know, but the executive said, that's a good song. That should be on the record, but this is your single. Right. I was telling you earlier that the young lady in that video was Kenya Moore.
Yes.
That was
yes.
That was one of the Silhouette young ladies. I mean, she's known my family for years, and that was her first video, and I'm very proud of her and her success and the things that she's doing today. So big ups to you, Kenya.
Wow, and she's from Detroit. And you were talking about how
Detroit,
you just
Miss USA.
Like, you were like, hey, she's got to be here regardless. I don't care if we got a flyer in or whatever. Because at the time, you weren't in Detroit doing the video, you were telling me.
I was in New York. And we had cast all these girls, man, for me to look at them.
Right.
And I'm looking, and it was nice and everything, but I already had in mind that I wanted Kenya to be one of those girls. And my manager was like, and she's beautiful and everything, but, it's going to cost us this, and I don't care what it costs, get her.
Right.
And for Kissing You was option of video, or I got the video in the song at the same time, I forget. But we got her in, and I wish that she would have done more, but their concept of their story was having these silhouette girls and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, it is what it is. I'm always trying to help somebody.
Well, you helped her. You did. You've done several duets with Shantae Moore. Where did the relationship come with her, Shantae Moore?
And my little sister, man. Shantae and I had known each other before we both had records out.
Yeah.
We talked about then doing something, and when we make it, whoever make it first.
Right.
We had those conversations constantly, So I've known her long before we both had records. And we would sit up with friends all night and just talk about where we going. We never said when we make it. We was like, we're going to get there.
We're going to make it.
This is what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just who's going to be first, right?
It's who's going to be who's on first. Who's on first? Who's on second,
who's on first?
So,
So you already know you're going to make it, right?
Yeah, well, you can claim it, man. Yeah. And I tell everybody, you got to claim it. And we claimed it. We claimed our success, So when I made it, became big, I took on tour with me and Candlelight News. She wrote Party soundtrack, House Party 2 soundtrack, and she was just coming out. I was working on her record. They came. I was taping Soul Train with Destiny's Child, and Lil Silas, which has passed away now, the executive that owns Silas Records. Shantae was signed to him. He brought her to the set, He brought her to Soul Train. I haven't seen Shantae in years, because we've been working, the record's out and everything, and he told me he got this young lady he wants me to do a duet with for the house party soundtrack. And I was like, well, yeah, I'll do anything for you, Lord. And so he said, I brought her here with me. So I went to the green room and I looked around. I saw Mr. Noel, which was Beyonce's mother and father, and Tina, and I saw this young lady I know named Shantae. She comes up, Keith, we hug each other because now, I'm on Soul Train, I'm at the Grammys and all this other kind of stuff.
Right.
I'm there.
You there.
And like, oh, yeah, she's like, oh, it's so nice. What brings you here? She said, I came here with, and when she said that, I remember him saying, I got to do a duet with. So I said, so it's you that I'm going to do the record with. She's like, yes, fool. Because she's my sister, so she always talked to me any kind of way, So I wouldn't have turned her down if you threatened me with 10 horses in front of me. I mean, she deserved it, and she wrote the song as well.
Wow!
And we got in the studio and knocked it out, and it was a big record. Unfortunately, Lil Silas wanted to control the video. The guy that owns Silas Records, but MCA wanted to do the video. For whatever reason. So there was some problems there. The record's doing well, but there's too much conversation and who's going to do this between him and they. The record was out too long when they thought about dropping the video. It wasn't worth it.
Wow.
I always said, well, drop a video now and it can bring new life into the song. But it ain't my money that's, nevertheless. But so that's what happened. And the other song, I Love You, was also written by a young lady that we are familiar with, Mr. Shanice Wilson. Yeah. Shanice wrote the song I Love You. And she did the demo. When I heard it, I was like, oh, this girl is awesome. Because her mother actually sung background on Kissing You. So, yeah, Shanice Wilson, her mother, was singing background on Kissing You. But Shanice wrote I Love You. And I mean, when I tell you that girl sang that song, we'll probably hear her do the whole song by herself one day. Right. Because she did it well. I don't care how great you are, how good you are. Nobody here will know, Yeah. Shantae did her thing and it really, really brought that sensuality, that whole thing to the song, which made it what it is today. And I was very grateful for those songs.
I love the fact we were talking about song tracks earlier, and you were talking about that one, but also Boomerang, which is the movie soundtrack, and Babyface and L.A. Reid was so pivotal to the soundtrack, and just you talking to them, getting music out, starring Eddie Murphy, how huge that movie was.
That was a big movie. I wish I was in it, but at the time. Because I really never really thought about acting. It crossed my mind, but music was my heart, my passion. So I really wasn't even considered being an actor. I mean, but when Babyface brought the idea of me doing Tonight Is Right on the soundtrack of the Boomerang, on the film, I thought it was the opportunity to work with Reid and Babyface, and they sung and we did it, and the record went platinum or whatever the album did, and everybody that was on did their tribute and made it, and I thank those guys very much. Part of my body of work, but I should have been in the movie.
Yes. I agree. I agree. You were in General Hospital, recurring roles over and over. Let's talk about that. If people don't know General Hospital, Luke and Laura. Most people say that.
That's it, Luke and Laura.
Luke and Laura, forget it. Luke and Laura Spencer. General Hospital.
In fact, when I was doing General Hospital, it was during the time when Luke just got back. Yeah, they just brought him back in, and that was interesting because I never thought that I would be on a legendary show. My mother was watch that.
Exactly.
So I remember when he
All of
came,
them.
my manager, he has such a my manager, Sherman Bass, had a real sarcastic personality, you know. And he's like, so-called General Hospital. This lady was in the hotel and video, and she thought great her black Clark Gable, her black Billy D. Williams, you know, her young Billy D. Williams. You know, he was talking all that stuff, and I'm like, well, that's cool, but that was to be true.
Right.
So when I found out when he was serious about it, I went to tell my mother. I said, Mom, they want me to do this TV series, soap opera called General. I'm not interested. My mother said, boy, let me tell you something. I carried you 9 months in that show. You gonna do that show. She's like, you gonna do, if you don't do nothing else in your career, you're gonna do that show. Right. She was a big fan of it.
Yeah.
And you know, of course, you know, superstar, you gonna do that show. Okay, superstar. So I wound up doing it. It was great. They took my whole record in the deal that we brought to them is that everything on my record. So I was an artist that replaced somebody why Mac and him go look for Mac's wife back club, and every song that I sung was off my CD. Wow. So the fan mail was unbelievable. Right. You know, white, and whoever watched General Hospital became a big fan of Keith Washington. And that was beautiful, you know. And I learned to appreciate it. Some things we take for granted because they do come so easy, you know. Right. And some things, if I can do over, I wouldn't have taken them for granted.
Let's do this. We'll take a break and be right back on the Cam Hill Show.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages. The Cam Hill Show. If you'd like to advertise your business or become a sponsor, contact the Cam Hill Show at gmail.com.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. Ron Carter Cadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, thanks so much, family. We are right back with Mr. Keith Washington. You have a song, Are You Still in Love with Me? How did that one come about? The ladies are asking.
Are You Still in Love with Me was, first of all, let me put it out. Everything I write comes from past experiences. You know what I mean? Everything. If I'm feeling sad, I write sad songs. If I'm feeling happy, I'm writing a happy song. If I'm in love, I'm writing a love song. Right. You know, how long that love may last, I may immediately be writing a slow, sad song.
You know what? Oh my God. You know we're not going to cut up on here, but there you go.
Hey, man.
Oh my
What a
God.
day.
That is. That is.
You know, hey, it happens, you know.
It does.
And, it was so fast, man. My mistakes and my trials and tribulations. I've experienced that. You know, you went in love, and you're like, What kind of love I'm in? Well, you're in the kind of love that you created.
Right.
You know, if you're good and stand by and stand up and be great to your spouse or whoever you with, greatness gonna come out of it through the trials and the tribulations. If you allow that tribulation, if you allow, if you allow trouble to brew and intervene in anything, man, it's going to destroy. It's going to just destroy because that's his job to destroy. Satan is busy. I'm sorry, Cam.
So
But
let's
to what I
do
was
this.
saying,
I'm gonna give you a minute. Let's look at Are You Still in Love with Me?
Something's wrong. Oh, I can tell. Is it that someone new came along and broke the spell? There's a doubt that I can shake. Emptiness in your kiss, I'm finding hard to take. If you're having second thoughts, if you think we should let go, after all we've been.
Okay, you all on the phone.
I'm sorry, Cam. I was making a phone. Somebody had called me.
So listen.
Somebody had called me and said, so I guess they were watching the show. They was like, are you still in love with me? I was like, yeah.
They trying to make sure, huh? You were telling me something about that video.
Never mind.
Yeah, you were telling me about that video and what happened. Your phone.
Yeah, is that your phone?
That's yours, not mine.
That's your phone?
No, that's not my phone. That's your phone. That's all three of your phones in the house.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't. Something just happened? But it's not on his end. It's on his end. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. You can't hear me.
We didn't do anything, no?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't.
He still can't hear me. Okay.
Is it your thing?
All right. Well, we're going to do this. All right. Let's take one more break. Let's take another break. Give him a minute. Let's take a break on the Cam Hill Show.
Be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages. The Cam Hill Show. If you'd like to advertise your business or become a sponsor, contact thecamhillshow@gmail.com.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, family, we are back. Mr. Keith Washington. Hey, buddy.
I can't hear him now.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Okay. I can.
I can hear
you.
you. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can
I
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you.
You can hear me.
Sorry for the slight difficulty.
No problem. That's technology. What advice would you give new artists that are out right now? They're looking to become mainstream and great like you.
Hard work, dedication.
Yeah.
You know who you are, know what type of talent you have, because and I know in today's world you really don't have to be that great singer because we got auto tunes and so on and so forth. And just believe in yourself and watch your money.
Yeah.
Watch your money, be in control of that.
Absolutely.
Because that'll go so fast and you'll be wondering where it went. And you'll know at the end of the day, checking out the books, that you made a lot of money. So be in control of your royalties and understand what you're doing. It's called show business.
I'm glad you mentioned that 10% of it is music and entertainment, creativity, 90% business. And we talked about this before the show. So many artists that we all know are great artists, but lost out on the business side, representation being one. The other side is they weren't not signing their own checks. You know, just a lot of things. Let's talk to people about that.
Kim, I fall victim to that too, because when you're coming up in this business, you want to make it, and to be around great people like great managers and great accountants and great labels, and they know that they about to change your life. So some things, you allow, especially in my case, I had one of the greatest managers in the world, Sherwin Bash. He represented so many celebrities, from pop artists to R&B artists and so on and so forth. So I didn't want to lose that, and that was introduced to me by a guy by Herb Albert that owns Anna Record. They introduced me to Sherwin. So I was up in the big times with these people, and I didn't want to lose that. So he wound up representing me, and he showed it. I mean, he got me a place, even though my wife and I at the time had a place there. He didn't know. So he went and said, go find you a place in Hollywood, have them send the application to me. You know what I mean? And I mean, this guy gave me $400 a week till we got a deal, So, I mean, I never signed a contract with him. You know what I mean? He was that was the dude.
Right.
But in the term of that, you lose sight of the business part.
Right.
When the contract this thick of Warner Brothers in front of you, Quincy Jones and Warner Brothers is like, I'm not going to be a professional guy. So there's when I know a great, which was his attorney. So now you got all this triangle with the accountant, which is his accountant. So I remember when I really started slowing down and understanding the business, I was on the road. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. My tour manager, we talked about the guy, the guy, we liked him. He was a cool guy, but that team.
Right.
Which means that team been around and been for a long time. That they in order of how they finagle your money. And we would get the deposit on the road, and the road manager pick it up, which is fine.
Right.
But in today's world, and when I started realizing that, that what are they doing? Or my bills was being paid, but why I don't have the money in the bank? Even though when I signed my first deal was $1 million, and but that was for the record and everything. I got 100 and something thousand out of that. My manager called me and says, make sure you send my check to Sterling Bank, which I gave him a commission out of that too. You follow me? Right. So at the end of the day, I guess what I'm trying to say is this: hire your own people. You know what I mean? I don't want to hire my manager's business partner, because I know y'all dealing with me. You know what I mean? So just take your business and make it your business to find good people that's not associated with each other. Trust is everything, but it's hard to trust that. Right. It's hard to trust that. I allow myself to trust that, and I realized that all my deposits, I was not even really seeing them.
Right. That's true.
And once I got smarter, that's when the problems came. You know what I mean? Once you start educating yourself and learning and talking to certain people, then you start asking questions, and that's when it becomes a problem.
Right, and I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you spoke about that, because we've seen so many artists having problems with taxes once they've made all the money. But they did not have the knowledge of what the CPA was doing and other things, but they had to take the fall for it, what I mean, because it's their name. Even though they didn't have the knowledge of why it was happening or whatever was going on, they had to, the unfortunate part is they had to take the fall of a lot of stuff they didn't even understand or know.
I was in a camp. I was in a very powerful meeting during the time my manager and I was having differences.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there was a meeting with the heads
Yes.
and pertaining to me.
Yes.
I walked into this meeting, and I just realized what it was about.
Yeah.
Because at the time, my manager and I was going through it because I was questioning him about money, this and that, and
Right.
another. And I was hiring my own people.
Mm-hmm.
And at this table, there was the heads of the labels and so on and so forth. And I was wondering what this meeting was about. And I shared this. I never shared this before. But hell, people should know and learn.
Right.
So certain people mistake.
Yeah.
I sat up there because of the fact I was asking questions and wanting to know the business, and I loved my manager. I really did. He was my friend, at least, at the time. And I sit in this meeting, and I sit next to this real powerful guy that runs this label. And we all sit down, and I'm asking, well, what's the problem? And they said some stuff to me, brother, that was just totally, I knew where things were going.
Right. You knew exactly.
And it was like, well, I mean, it was crazy. It was like, did you order 9 airline tickets out of the country for 9 people?
Wow.
I was like, I don't even leave out of the country unless it's a tour.
Right.
And my manager handles that. Well, they said it was you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Said it was me. I mean, when I tell you everybody's at this table, everybody is responsible for my career.
Right.
But goes to show you how friends work,
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't know. I said, well, call the travel agency now. And it was Warner Brothers Travel Agency.
Uh-huh.
They called, this lady answered the phone, and she explained to me. And I said, miss, you got the wrong person. Well, it sound like you. I said, it's not in my character. And everybody at this table, if you know anything about me, you know that I had nothing to do with this. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
But miss, it was not me to call you. I wouldn't even know where to call. I said, and if you want to get real deep about it, why don't you find out whose names is on the tickets and ask those people?
Right.
Why don't you find out, you know what I mean? But I knew where that was going because of my manager, and I was going through some stuff.
Right.
And then when I finally asked that question, because it bothered me, I asked that question to one of the executives at the time that worked there. I said, what was that all about, man?
Yeah.
He said, you know what, Keith? It was probably one of the promotional guys that got, that did a deal for you or whatever, and they taxed you on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they making you take the fall because they're gonna get the money or whatever the case is.
Yes.
But that's part of the business that you must protect, yourself.
Yes.
And that's why I understood Prince at the time, because we talked about Prince working on my second album. We even called him from Warner Brothers. And Prince told me, I picked up the phone, I said, I'm on speaker. He said, first of all, tell everybody I said hi. I told everybody, said from Quincy to Mo Austin to who all was in the meeting. And he asked me to pick up the phone. I picked up the phone. Prince said, you know what, Keith? I would love to work with you on your second record. I think you're very talented. I think we can make some great music together. He said, but now is not the time. This is when he had Slave on his face, him and George Michael's.
Right.
He said, because he had his reasons. And he says, there's no way that I'm going to let them take my disciples through what I'm going through. He said his disciples. I was like, okay, I guess I'm a disciple.
But it makes sense. It makes sense. He's trying to tell you, he didn't want you to go through what he was going through.
Yeah. So he told me, he says, we'll meet. So we met that night, and he told me a lot of stuff about what was going on. I shared to him what was going on, and he was like, just watch everything that you put your name on everything that you possibly can. You're somebody now. You can make decisions, but be making them. So
it makes so much sense.
Just know your business.
Yeah, it makes sense. And that's what we're trying to do, trying to help a lot of people, especially now. A lot of artists are now becoming independent artists, and they're having to pay for everything, right? So they have to, really look at the bottom line.
I think the world today, when it comes to entertainment, is a great thing. Yes, so everybody wants to be with a major label because of the machine they can put behind you.
Right.
But in today's market, you got things like what we do. You know what I mean? You can see me. We got the internet. We got everything.
Right.
I can put a record out today and it hit all across the country with a click of a button. You know, so and it's a lot of artists today that's independent that ain't trying to sign with a label.
Right.
Why would I cut into my money to give you when I'm making it all? You know.
Right. The other thing too is representation. We talked about that, and also investing in themselves. You did that so much. You invested in your career. A lot of people don't. BMI, ASCAP, ASCAP, all of that. Just making sure royalties, making sure you're really signed and getting the credit. Even if you're a songwriter and you're not the singer, many people lose out on that part. The producers lose out on that part by not getting their credits.
Well, I'm a great case in point. I mean, I did a song with a young lady by the name of Kylie Minogue, which is like Madonna over in Europe, huge girl, and at the time, and I wrote a song with her and a gentleman by the name of Peter Waterman and Michael, which was some great guys, man, who was producing her, and I sung on it. It was called "If You Were With Me Now." It's a duet between she and I, and I don't know if I've ever seen a statement of a royalty check from that even today.
Wow.
You know, when we try to contact them over there or whatever. So, there's people that can find that money,
Right.
but, you just, it's just a shame, man, that you put your work into it. I mean, the song that I wrote for Freddie Jackson, Hey Lover, I love Freddie. Freddie's my brother, man, and that whole team, Sonny Moore, Paul Lawrence, I love those guys, man. But, you gotta have people to find that money, because if they don't think you know better, hey, listen, they're going to do what they can to keep what's yours and what's rightfully belong to you.
And I was bringing that up because I've talked to so many artists now during COVID. Nobody knew the end of February, beginning of March, the world was going to shut down literally. And all the tours, people traveling, all venues, were just completely shut down, no more money. A lot of people that we felt like really had it, had the money.
Whoa. Yeah.
Really, we're struggling, literally struggling.
I know a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
A whole bunch. They got, you're a star. Yeah, you got all that, but what's going on with your finances?
Right.
I've had some of them call me about certain things, and we talked about it. But that's why they say in time of peace, be prepared. In time of peace, prepare for war.
That's it.
So you got to also make sure that you have something that's going to take care of you.
Right.
When the when things happen, unforeseen occurrences do happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And now just looking back, just talking to, like I said, a lot of the artists, 6 cars, different, 2 or 3 houses, just things like that. And that's not something you can liquidate like shoes. You know what I'm saying? You can't just liquidate.
Man, you lose the value of that car once you take it out that showroom.
Exactly. Immediately when it drives in the street. Look, you take it out and you turn right back and you try to take it back to them. They're going to say 50%.
Bro, yeah, no question. 160,000, you want what for it now? Oh, no.
Exactly.
No, we'll give you 40.
Exactly.
The
pre-owned.
Right. This it's a pre-owned now,
Right.
But yeah, man, so you just got to be careful, man,
Yeah. And I think, like I said, COVID has taught us so much. Everything was shut down. We had to come home, didn't have an income. A lot of people just didn't know where to go. Many people got laid off, of course, because, you got your whole sound crew, production, lighting, all of that. You don't need them anymore.
And lose it all. Because the money that they were giving us was not enough money to take care of responsibility.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If you had houses with notes and this and that, and you didn't have, your money right in the bank, or you dipping into the money you have in the bank, and that runs. So it was tough, man. It was tough for everybody.
It is. It's very much so. And I'm glad we're talking about that because, again, we have a lot of people that have been laid off, 40 million plus over a period with COVID, just industries, period, shutting down, never to come back because a lot of people will always work from home now because the industry, a lot of the businesses say it's less expensive. It's easier, We don't have to have the office buildings. We don't have to have the space anymore. You're at home. It's good.
I built me a recording during the COVID, and I thank COVID for this. Unfortunately, it was an unfortunate situation for the world.
Right.
But for me personally,
Yes.
it was a sad moment in my life as well.
Right.
Losing family members, losing
Right.
friends, and like many across the world, have lost. But I took my downtime and once again invested myself. I built a recording studio in my house.
Wow.
So I don't have to go spend money now.
Right.
Big budgets. Yeah, I can do it out of my house. Producers come to my house and work with me. And just optimizing my position, man, and making the adjustments. And it's tough, You got a house note for $7,000 and you ain't got $7,000 coming in, and
Right.
you're running out of what you got in the bank. What do?
Right.
Your marriage start falling apart. Domestic violence goes through the roof.
It does.
What do?
Yes. Yes.
And that's when prayer comes involved, man. You got to be prayed up, man. You got to understand that all things, I want to say happened for a reason, and for whatever reason that was, it was a wake-up call for the world.
Definitely a wake-up call. It just reminds me of God saying, do you hear me now? You're so busy. You doing everything you want to do. You don't have time to pray. You don't have time to come. You don't have time to talk to me. You don't have to get in your space. Oh, you busy. Okay. We're going to shut everything down. That's what we're going to do. Now, look, can you hear me now?
Wow.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
You're so busy. You
So
don't
busy.
even have time to put your shoes up under the bed and wake up in the morning, get on your knees and pray.
You don't have time. You're too busy. You running and flying and doing this and that and just the whole day going.
And that's amazing because I rightfully, because I come from, many, and I'm probably not the only child that experiences this, but I come from a Jehovah's Witness background. I also come, my mother was a witness, and my brothers and sisters are elders in the truth. But also living with my grandparents, they was Catholics, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, then Pentecostal. So I was involved with all religion when I was coming up. And it was like, well, they got one thing in common, even though some things was explained differently. The focus is about God.
Yeah.
So I don't knock any religion. I just believe if you don't believe, you have to believe in something. I mean, we ain't here because of nothing. God put us here. So you should bring him into your world. And some things you'll understand. Read the Bible, man. And I don't mean to bring it sound like we in church or whatnot, but sometimes it takes that to keep your family together.
Right.
But they say pray, but prayer keep. What is it? Keep your family together. Whatever it is. But you got to find that in your life. I tell people you got to find that in your life. Like you said, you don't got time. God said everything. Now you got time.
Yeah.
Because it scared the hell out of you.
What I usually,
know what I mean?
you were saying, usually say a family that prays together stays together, right?
That's what I was trying to say.
That's it.
I love you.
That's it. Look, they try. Look, but when you think about it, sometimes that's the only way you can do it. You got so much on you that the only thing you can do is pray.
Yeah, man. And some people don't believe in it. Some people are like, well, why? I pray all the time. Ain't nothing happening. Well, guess what, man? Pray a little harder because he's hearing you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got to have faith. You got to have faith. What's that saying? That guy was in the boat and there was a hole in his boat and 3 boats came by and he turned them all down. When he tried to say, God, I thought you got me. He said, I sent you 3 boats. You didn't recognize. So sometimes they're not going to come how you want.
That's
blessings.
it.
We'll get
That's
one.
it. That's it. You're sure right about that. Your music is timeless, my friend. I mean, literally. How does that work? Timeless. It stays with you year in and year out.
Yeah, you know what, Kim? I appreciate it, but I think it has a lot to do with my inner soul, who I am, and what I've been through, and what I think to the heart needs. I try to the heart to the people and what they go through and what we've been through. I don't try to talk about something that I've never experienced. I ain't never been to Mars, so I can't talk about Mars,
Right.
but I just talk about things that I know, the hood, the upper echelon people, all the people in the world have experienced love, peace, hate, and war.
Right.
It's a song that one of the producers wrote named John Nuttlesby and Greg Curtis, and it's about Black Wall Street. And it's almost in the vein of what's going on. I never sung a song like that before, but I did. And it's amazing. and they was writing it for the LeBron's. I think him and CNN is doing something on Black Wall Street.
Right.
So the song is a message about the little 10-year-old boy, you know, that says something to the white woman, whatever the case may be. But it's very powerful, and it reminds you of a Marvin Gaye, what's going on kind of thing.
Right.
So it's a message, man, and so I try to reach the parts to the heart, you know, and if you can do that, you know, if I've done my job. Now the rest of it is the people going out there supporting it and loving what I do. Like we had a new CD coming out that we're very excited about, and I want everybody to, you know, go out there, and when it comes out, you'll know about it, because I'm gonna make sure that me and Cam.
Oh, we're gonna make sure of it. We're gonna blow it up. We're gonna blow it up.
Right.
They're gonna get tired of it. I'm gonna keep pushing it and pushing
You'll
it.
get
They're gonna
tired
get
of
tired of it. I'm saying,
It's gonna
play
be
it.
like I'm a co-host every week. I'm gonna be on. Okay, here we go again, Cam.
There you go. Let's do it. Let's do it. 2019, the National Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame Award. What took them so long? No, but anyway.
No, we said that earlier. What took them so long? You know, I'm here. Hello, I'm here. Sometimes, you know, out of sight, out of mind. Sometimes you can be in vision, but you know, they just don't see it.
But praise
I
God.
think I thank them for the opportunity. I thank them for blessing me with that and my hometown, Detroit.
Yeah.
And the one that I picked up in Los Angeles, man, that was beautiful too. But it's a blessing, man.
Yeah.
It's homage. I give that to appreciating my body of work, you know. And it's like people would ask me, Keith, what took Unsung so long? But sometimes they say you serve no wine before it's time, you know. So
yeah,
things come around, you know. I'm just
seasoned.
thankful.
Well, my friend, I cannot believe it. What would you like to leave with the viewers?
I got a new record.
Tell them, Keith.
No, we have a new CD coming out, and
Yes.
you all gonna love it. If you did see Unsung, you saw we featured a little bit of it in the studio.
Yes.
But I'm very excited about it, and if you guys want to follow me, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. But stay safe, man. Stay out the way. Stay blessed, prayed up. Take care of your loved ones, and remember, haters got a job too, and that's to hate. But you know, love them as well as much as you can. Just don't trust them. Love you guys.
Thank you so much, my friend, for everything. You, my man. Call you later. Talk to you soon. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for your timeless music. Thank you for all those years of putting in, because you've blessed our lives. You've made us dream. You've made us be better. And I appreciate you continuing to keep going. Never giving up.
Thank you so much, brother.
And love you too much, my friend. Take care.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
You too, Cam.
Bye. The Cam Hill Show, 12/31/30. See you then. Bye.